Hello, my name is Helga R Gudmundsdottir, and on behalf of the MERYC board, I would like to welcome you to this MERYC online event, and I very much look forward to an inspiring afternoon. Here you can see what the MERYC website looks like, and we would like to encourage you to visit our website. You can find information about past and future conferences and even the proceedings from previous conferences. There is information about the board, and you can also see, for example, today's program on this website. When you registered for this online event, we asked you a few questions, and there were about 180 people who registered for this event. And now I would like to share with you a bit of statistics from the registration survey. You can see that the majority consider themselves practitioners and researcher. Practitioners only are about 35%. We have 7.5% researchers, and then we have also students. Those who are other are mostly stakeholders and those representing organizations, private or public. To the question whether your practice was negatively affected by the COVID-19 situation, it may not come as a surprise that the majority, or 66%, agree or strongly agree that COVID has negatively affected their practice or research. 16% were neutral and 7.5% disagreed. Just some facts that I thought would be interesting to share with you. Before I begin the keynote, I'm going to present myself briefly. I consider myself both a researcher and a practitioner. And you see me here on the left-hand side learning a song from my great-grandmother, who was born in 1890. And on the right, I am conducting a family music practice in Iceland. Family music courses that we have that I will tell you a bit more about later in this presentation. Now, the title of the presentation is The Current Challenges for Researchers and Practitioners in Early Childhood Music Education. Now, the subtitle for this conference is The Digital Environment and Early Childhood Music Education, Impossibilities or Opportunities. And I think this is something we have been struggling with in the last year or so. And I know we will hear a bit about both in the upcoming presentations today. I will begin with an overview of research on very young children and digital media on screen time. Now, reviewing the literature on infants, toddlers, and preschoolers' screen time and increased viewing, we find many cautionary observations and remarks. Experts have been concerned with the effects of screen time on very young children's development, and we know that screen viewing and digital media is and has been increasing drastically in all age groups. Now, some of the findings are alarming and cause for concern, like the fact that half of infants in the age group 6 to 11-month-olds were using a touchscreen daily. But we also see that researchers have begun to consider what could be healthy use of screens and how to evaluate this. So it's not only seen as negative, but could also have some positive effects when used appropriately. Now, there are some obvious negative effects of screen use, particularly when it comes to the effects on nighttime sleep. However, we see that there is a difference between age groups within early childhood, and it is acknowledged that the same principles may not apply to infants and preschoolers, for example. Now, we are seeing terms like screen-assisted parenting. And recent studies find that parent screen use plays a major role in explaining children's viewing time and has become a normative behavior. Screen viewing has become a normative behavior among very young children. Screen viewing is deeply integrated into the daily parenting routines, and we find a call for more family-based ecological approach to screen time reduction among toddlers. Now, it is important to understand that there may be possible benefits to use screens and digital media, and research has reflected this, even though that children younger than 5 years learn best from live immersive interactions with family members and caregivers. We also acknowledge that appropriately used screen time can calm a child who is overexcited or distressed. And quality content can enhance social and language skills for all children aged 2 years and older, particularly for those who are disadvantaged. And developing a family media action plan can help protect and reinforce quality family time. We also see that when parents model healthy screen habits, they minimize their own screen use when young children are present, especially for meal times, play, and other prime opportunities for social learning. And they prioritize interactions with children through conversation, play, and healthy active routines. Now, more importantly, choose when to use the media together with their children and turn off screens when they are not in use. So having reviewed recent studies on digital media and screen time with very young children, we must recognize that the context for digital environment has completely changed with COVID-19, and it is important to search for a healthy balance and provide research-based guidelines for parents. And the term quality screen time is something that we are seeing and recognizing more, and that parental participation in screen time activities with young children is important, an important factor when we are looking at this. Now I would like to switch to a tale of my practice in Iceland and the recent developments that we have had. Now, tónagull is an early childhood music method that has been available in Iceland since 2004. And these are family music courses and participatory concerts. But the courses are mainly based on Icelandic folk music and nursery rhymes. And recent development is that we have had changed the program so that we have Polish language tónagull classes now. So we offer courses in Polish language using similar nursery rhymes and folk melodies that from Polish traditions, but using the same structure as we have in tónagull. Now, this is important because we have a very large population of Polish people in Iceland, and they are about 6% of the total population and nearly 40% of the immigrant population of Iceland. When we offered these classes for the first time in the spring of 2019, they were immediately full, and we had to create waiting lists and more locations. And these locations are mostly cultural centers that allow us to teach for free. And we also have support or had support from the Polish Embassy in Iceland to keep the cost of the classes low for the parents. Now, this presented an opportunity for research, And there's a doctoral student at the University of Iceland in music education, Adam Svitala, who is also Polish, and he has developed these classes. And we are developing research on these classes and asking questions, for example, what it is that motivates Polish parents to participate in these classes, what it means to them, and what their perceived benefits of participating are. Now, for both the practice and research, there was definitely a negative effect when COVID-19 happened in 2020. And already in spring last year, classes were canceled. And in the fall, we had to have restricted group sizes, and in the winter, even further restrictions with masks mandatory. Now, usually we have about 12 to 14 families, sometimes more in Tónagöll, and we are sitting pretty tight next to each other, allowing both parents to follow each child and sometimes siblings as well. And with the restrictions, we had to reduce class sizes to 4 to 7 families. Mandatory masks, we rented larger spaces. Participants now had to bring their own mats, and it was a bit difficult having to restrict to one parent, and one parent had to stay at home during the classes. So what we did was that we videotaped the lessons and made them available to the families to watch at home. And this was especially done with the other family members in mind. Some parents were not ready to participate with masks and dropped out, and we were concerned that the infants would be afraid and would act strangely to adults wearing masks. And to our surprise, the infants adapted faster to the new norm of masks than we could have imagined. And as I said, the videotaping of lessons was primarily done to compensate the parents missing out on classes. However, the videotape lessons became a sensation among many of the children. And the unexpected effects of viewing videos at home were that infants enjoyed watching those, asked to repeat viewing, and they involved parents in similar acts, asked them to dance or do the same activities at home repeatedly. And we even had a story of one of the children trying to climb into the computer to join the class and didn't understand why it didn't work. So that was very interesting, and we would like to explore this more, the effect of children watching themselves in music class afterwards. This we have never done before. Now, in the end, I would like to share with you a few clips from those COVID music classes, and you can judge for yourself how the children coped with adults wearing masks.